right, good evening and welcome to Peter's 2024 NFL season halfway point power rankings. Remember, after week 5, we did the quarter point power rankings. I came to you on a Friday night, I believe it was, just before Horror Fest, or the night of Horror Fest night 1. And I gave you this list here of the quarter point, with the Lions taking the top spot. And you'll kind of look at the records there, and you'll see after the Vikings that you had some teams kind of muddled in there with a lot of 2-loss teams we weren't really sure about. And how much has changed since week 5, since the quarter point? Well, you're about to find out from my rankings, my opinion on the halfway point of the National Football League season. And we're going to start at number 10. All right, so at number 10, we have Andrew's Falcons at 6-3, sitting atop of the NFC South. This is certainly not a team that is of championship pedigree, but it is a team that potentially can make some noise if they are able to get into the playoffs. And because they are sitting right there in first place in their division, and they have the Buccaneers as really the only competition in a very bad division. And the Buccaneers are hurting. They have a tough game tonight. Got some injuries, and they're gonna have to really muscle up to stay on pace with the Falcons to have a chance to capture the NFC South. It could happen, but before the season, I think I had the Buccaneers winning it with like a losing record. And I think everyone agreed that this NFC South is the worst division in the NFL. It looks pretty bad right now. It's actually probably not the worst one like we thought, but it's kind of a tale of two different sections, really, like Buccaneers, Falcons, and two really bad teams, the Saints and Panthers under there. But this has really been about it's really about Kirk Cousins' play. I didn't think he'd be that good this season, especially coming off that bad injury last year and his age, but he's just, he had that 145 passer rating yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys, and he's just having a great season. And I expect it to continue. And so, Falcons, welcome to the power rankings at number 10. All right, we're going to move on to number 9. As you can see, Commanders at number 9, no movement here. They're in the same spot as they were after week 5. In my predictions video on Saturday, I mentioned how this is the first time that the Commanders skins could be 7-2 since 1996. All right, Norv Turner and Gus Frerotte, and how they imploded after that 7-2 start and ended up 9-7, missed the playoffs. Now there's some similarities to this team, to that team. Kind of played some kind of weak teams and then got into a tougher part of the schedule. They were maybe playing, over their heads in the first half. But this team is more promising as far as the future. When they run the ball, they are very dangerous to deal with. Yesterday they had 149 rushing yards, granted against a bad, pretty weak rush defense, the Giants, but 149 rushing yards without their starting running back. That's pretty impressive. like we're looking at right now, the halfway point, Dan Quinn is your coach of the year, I believe, in the NFL. But if they want to get to up further than 9 and not drop out of it, they really want to be with the big boys, like the top 5. They got Steelers next week and then Eagles. Win a game against a real like powerful team. They haven't done that at all this year. They beat up on some. They've taken care of their business, but they've beaten some pretty easy teams. Pretty much every team they've beaten, their 7 wins, been not that great. So that's why with this impressive record, they're all the way down at 9. All right, we're gonna go to 8 and see if Tampa Bay is still there. Good. All right, so number 8 is another NFC team. And this is a team, Packers, that a lot of people were high on before the season. They've had some struggles, yet they're still have a really good record at 6-3, and you just get the feeling that they're playoff tested after last year. They're a young team. Matt LaFleur did a great job last season, and he's gonna. You just feel like they're gonna once Love comes his groin. He played yesterday with a hurt groin. Once that gets better, and some of the other players are back from injury, they kind of get some more games underneath of them. I mean, they out yardaged the Lions yesterday by 150 yards. So you know they can really get it rolling against any team. And so you just feel like they're going to be really a team that puts together a nice string of impressive wins. And so welcome to the power rankings. Packers at 6-3. Feel pretty good about that. I've been kind of down on them, but I feel like they're coming around and they're trying to punch their ticket to get a little bit higher on this list. All right, number 7 last week was the Buffalo Bills at 3-2. Who is it this week? All right, so this is number 6. Number 7. Okay, at least this is not live, boys. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I didn't mess that one up. Another team from the same division. Now this is a drop this is good for the Bills because it means the Bills have jumped up in the rankings, but Vikings at 6-2. They were in danger of falling to 5-3 until they won that game last night. Adding Cam Robinson at left tackle is proven to be a great move for them. And on offense, they have a lot of firepower and they can be exciting when they're rolling. So they can be a real exciting team on offense. Now, last night, Sam Darnold showed me a lot of character after the 3 turnovers in the first half, coming back and making some big plays in the second half. However, those turnovers are bringing back some memories from his Jets days, and it's got to be cut down. So that's something that they need to. You can't get back in a habit of doing, but the team really believes in him, and what they have that's kind of makes them a real favorite to be a spoiler once January comes around is just that aggressive defense and a pretty good running game, and that can really make create some misery for favorite teams. Say if they have to go on the road or something in the playoffs, they could really be a spoiler team in the playoffs. So I've got the Vikings here at 6-2. I think that's fair. You look back and they're 5-0 back at the quarter point, but all right. So there's 7. 6 last time was the Steelers at 3-2. I kind of liked them, and so 6 this week. The Steelers again. holding their position here, and they are 6-2. Ferocious pass rush, punishing ground game. They should go 7-2 after this Sunday, and just a team that is really. You watch this team on defense, and the way they run the ball as well, and it's like borderline like championship caliber type of teams. A very scary team, Pittsburgh Steelers. No movement here, despite a 3-game winning streak after the quarter point, but it's hard to get the Steelers out of the any lower than this. Some people have them a little higher, but that's where I got the Steelers. It's still kind of weird what's going on with the quarterback spot, but I think they made the right decision with Wilson for the long term this season. All right, so number 5 last week was the Texans at 4-1, and this week, will it be the Texans? It's going to be another 6-2 team. This time we go to the NFC East, and we have the Eagles moving up from 10 to 5. One of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and that is a ridiculous running game that they have going on right now. It's going to make Jalen Hurts and the star power they have at receivers even better, or even create more opportunities for them. It's funny because back at the quarter point, I think it was, or maybe the game before that, but there was a lot of the same things from last year. The divided locker room problems, and the coach maybe on the way out, and all that stuff was starting to come up again. There was like a groundswell of it, and it looked like it might turn really bad, but now they're 6-2, and so they can continue to rise. All right, I talked about this in my season predictions video. Eagles, the team to really watch in the NFC, and you're starting to see it now. And my gosh, Barkley's killing it lately. So, all right, so 5 Eagles, 4 last week was the Baltimore Ravens. Who is it this week? Okay. All right, boys. Moving up 3 spots is Shaw's Bills. Okay, they're just rolling right now. The one thing that's concerning is the run defense is not very good at all. But it's funny, you look at how they were back here, and then I think they lost. No, they were 3-2, and it was like, they're gonna fade here. And they had the offense looked pretty bad, remember? And now they're just rolling along, especially after the Cooper trade. So now, really looking good. I'm not interested in what they do in November or December. I know they're going to win some games. It all comes down to January. I think we all know what's going to happen to them. But right now, I've got them like way up there. So I've got them at number 4. They're just really playing good football. I know it took a 61-yard field goal to win yesterday, but Bills at 4. I think that's pretty fair. All right, let's go to the number 3 spot. All right, number 3. Last week was the Vikings. It was one of the 2 undefeated teams back then. And now we're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. All right, at 6-3. I think Jackson's QB rating yesterday was like 158 in a 41-10 throttling of the Denver Broncos. Boy, that loss to the Browns they didn't simmer in that too long, did they? All right, Ravens are a juggernaut like team that is like just they're thinking playoffs, and they're going to be one of those teams, probably AFC championship bound. They're that good. Definitely put them over the Bills. I definitely trust them more than the Bills down the stretch here. And I mean, what else did I say? Ravens moving up one spot from last time, number 4 to number 3. All right, let's go to number 2 and see who that is. Okay, all right. So I think so who's it going to be? Which of the two? All right. Last time it was the Chiefs at 2. This time it is the Lions. Okay. All right. So this time I've got the Lions dropping to 2nd and the best team in the NFC. Lions, big win yesterday at Lambeau. A very balanced. The reason I've got them ahead of the Ravens, I think they're much more like balanced on offensively and defensively than the Ravens right now, and they're just a lot of the scoring is such a big thing in the NFL, and the Lions do that better as well, or better than anyone else in the NFL, and so they are really just killing it right now. So Lions at 7-1. It's number 2 on my list, and I think some of those picks. I like those picks they made in the draft on defense, and the Eagles too. Those cornerbacks that they took are really starting to show their stripes. And so the number 1 team last time it was the Lions, and then at the halfway point is Chiefs at 7-0. They will be 8-0 after tonight. So unless the Buccaneers kill them tonight, this holds. If the Buccaneers somehow destroy the Chiefs tonight, then I'll have to redo this entire thing and put the Buccaneers at 10 or 9 or something, and move the Chiefs down to 2 or 3. Okay, but Mahomes is now starting to play well, much better than he was playing before, and they're just a team that is not doing it with style points, but it's almost like they're kind of biding their time, getting wins. They're not. I wonder at what point it's going to kick in for them to be like, we got to go for the run the table. I don't know. It's I wonder if it's crept into their minds. Probably it would take a few more weeks for that to start to happen. I think most people do have the Chiefs number 1 right now. Maybe some of the Lions, but it just feels like this is they're on a mission, and they're going to go head to head. That's what it feels like right now in New Orleans. Okay, that's what it feels like. So let's look at teams that fell out from the quarter point and are not here anymore. So one of those is the Buccaneers, and then the other is the Texans. So I'll just put a thing there. So 2 teams that fell out, and then the 2 teams that are new are Andy's Falcons and Seatown's Packers. So those are the teams that took their places. You have one team here that has a same 9-spot Commanders, Steelers at 6th spot, and that's it. The ones that have not moved at all. All right. Bills had a nice +3 jump. Ravens at a +1. Lions -1. Chiefs +1 jump. Eagles had the biggest jump at +5. And then the Vikings had a 4-point slippage. So that's the biggest slippage. And all right, so that's it. And then teams that are like not. Remember the last time the Seahawks were good, like 3-2, but they weren't there, and like Niners, Bengals. All right, so the teams that would be right up like the kind of the honor, like if I had like an 11-12, like Texans here, and I'm not going to write the records. And then I would put like the 49ers, like teams that kind of watch out for. Chargers are a real interesting team right now. Like one of those, like every year there's like that team that starts out pretty bad, and then you kind of get into like late November, like how did they get here? They kind of feel like that team's going to be still in the playoff picture. And then this morning I talked about the Cardinals, okay, like the Rams. They're definitely in there. Like you can even kind of throw Denver in there as a weird, but they'd be kind of like the next on the list. But that's pretty much it for now. All right, so that's the Whiteboard Series 2024 halfway point video of the NFL season. We're seeing where we're at the 3/4, the 75%, 3/4 mark of the NFL season, probably after like week 14 or so. So, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree with anything. And so, all right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the 3/4 point of the NFL season. Peace out.